The story continues. A rich man's pride. At first the villagers whispered. Then they gossiped. And soon they bowed. Nnadi's sudden wealth was impossible to ignore. His compound, once the most humble, became the largest in the village. His barns overflowed with yams so abundant that he had to build extra storage. His goats multiplied faster than the eyes could count. Servants scurried across his yard, carrying calabashes of palm wine, pounding yam, and sweeping the red earth until it shone like polished clay. Men nodded in respect as he walked past. Women peeked from behind their wrappers, their laughter following him like shadows. Children sang his name in the moonlight. And Nnadi, Nnadi, drank it all in like palm wine on a hot afternoon. The once humble farmer now strutted like a cock at dawn. His voice grew louder in the village meetings. His hands grew heavier when he spoke, adorned with cowrie beads and ivory bangles. When others gave 1 goat at the village festival, Nnadi slaughtered 10. When others poured a calabash of palm wine, he spilled a barrel. And the people clapped. But the elders watched with narrowed eyes. For they knew what the young often forget. A man who rises too quickly is often falling without knowing it. Nnadi married the most beautiful woman in the land, Adana, whose anklets sang like little bells whenever she walked. She was wise and gentle, her eyes holding a quiet warning, though she rarely spoke it aloud. "Remember, Nnadi," she whispered one night as they lay on mats finer than leopard skin. "Wealth is like the harmattan wind. It comes fast, it blinds, and it leaves dust in its wake. Do not forget your father's words." But Nnadi only laughed, his chest swelling. "Woman, my father was a poor man. I am not poor. Look around you. Do you not see the wealth the gods themselves have poured at my feet?" And though Adana fell silent, she prayed in her heart, for she saw something in Nnadi's eyes that no gold could cover. A hunger that would never be satisfied. Soon Nnadi began to mock those who had once been his friends. The same men who had labored beside him in the farms, who had shared kola nut and laughter in his days of struggle, he now called lazy. One afternoon Obi, his childhood friend, came to him. His clothes were torn, his eyes hollow with hunger. "Nnadi, my brother," Obi said softly, "my children have not eaten in 2 days. Can you spare some yams?" Nnadi looked at him, then at his overflowing barns. He laughed loud and sharp. "Obi, if your children hunger, let them learn to work harder. The gods bless only the diligent. Do not beg at my door again." The words cut like a machete. Obi left in silence, but the village heard. And whispers began to grow. Wealth has blinded him. Nnadi has forgotten. The gods too had not forgotten. It began quietly. A yam field that once burst with life began to rot. Goats disappeared in the night, leaving behind nothing but hoof prints that led into the forest and vanished. When palm wine was tapped, it soured before reaching the calabash. The villagers noticed. They whispered. But Nnadi shrugged, hosting feasts even grander to silence suspicion. Yet, in the dark corners of his compound, his wife Adana's eyes grew heavy with worry. She spoke to him again. "Nnadi, something is wrong. Wealth that comes without sweat often goes without warning. Let us call the elders. Let us pour libation." But Nnadi roared with laughter. "Elders? Libation? Do you not see? I am greater than them all. The gods favor me, Adana. I am untouchable." His words echoed into the night, bouncing off the mud walls of his compound. But the wind that carried them also carried a warning. For the gods are never mocked. One evening, during a festival, Nnadi, dressed in flowing white cloth, his wrists jingling with ivory, his neck heavy with coral beads. He walked through the marketplace, tossing cowries into the crowd as if they were pebbles. The people scrambled for them, their dignity forgotten, their hands clawing at the ground. Nnadi watched and smiled. "This," he declared, his voice booming across the square, "is what power looks like." But among the crowd, an elder leaned on his staff, shaking his head. He muttered softly but loud enough for others near him to hear. "A tree that grows too tall too quickly will break when the storm comes." The people nodded. And though they clapped for Nnadi, they began to fear him. That night, as the moon rose pale and cold, Nnadi returned to his compound. His servants sang his praises, his wife served him with trembling hands, and yet he could not sleep. For in the silence of midnight, when the laughter of the day faded, he heard it. The sound of footsteps outside his window. Heavy, deliberate, slow. He leapt up, snatching a lantern. But when he rushed outside, there was nothing, only the wind rustling through the plantain leaves. Still the sound lingered in his ears. And though he tried to laugh it off, a shiver crawled down his spine. Do you think Nnadi's wealth will last, or is the curse already beginning? If you were Adana, what would you do? Warn him again or leave before it is too late?